So I think between you being the gatepost, and I apologize for taking the liberty of saying this, but I think this is something you've been preparing for your entire life.
It feels like it, man.
I really do, man. I
No,
mean, of course I know your life story, right?
yeah, yeah,
So
but seriously, I mean that's a very that's a very true statement, right?
yeah,
Because you look at the life story, look at everything I've been through.
yeah,
I look at, I just talked about how fortunate I was to be at the major networks, to work with WWE. And so my background in this space and tech, the relationships I have in the tech space, it's happening now, right? You
yeah,
kind of, you ever, kind of hear a quote where people say it takes you 10 years to be an overnight success.
yeah,
It feels that way. It feels like
yeah,
I've been at this thing for 10 years. And now everything's happening now is because of what I've done over the past 10 years. And being in the position that I am, I take that, the responsibility of all this knowledge, all this information I've accumulated over the last 10, 15 years in this space to being able to apply it to things that I believe is going to be the future.
yeah. And that's cool, man. I mean, like we talked about before, I think the coolest thing about you in particular is you're just always learning. You're constantly asking, you're constantly seeking out, you know what I mean? Like you're constantly, like, the NASCAR thing, right? Owning a NASCAR team taught you a ton, right? And you learned a ton from Fox Sports. You learned a ton from ESPN. I mean, you everywhere you go, you're just like you're learning, right? And you're adding to, and I feel like this is something you've been working on for a very, very long time, and you've just been kind of depositing it in the recesses of your mind and going, okay, when we have a sports network, when we have an extreme fighting league, we're using this. When we have a sports network, we're using this. I can't wait to see what you do next.
Me too, but it's like I'm fighting to get out of the day and fighting to get out the week. It's pretty. Don't get me wrong. I love every second of it. I'm a
Yeah,
problem solver by nature.
yeah,
I actually do just like to figure things out. And when I do, I start looking at the next thing I can fix or figure out. And that's my
absolutely.
mind constantly works that way. But it is it does stay in the back of my mind that the knowledge and information we talked about that I picked
Right.
up over the last 10 years, what I'll learn in the next 12 to 24 months. And
Yeah.
I do constantly think like that. What else can I learn to make this thing bigger in the next 12 or 24 months?